Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Story of Sam and welcome back to a brand new NBA video today here on the channel. And right now I'm going to give you guys 5 different bold predictions for the 2021 NBA playoffs. Everything from who's going to win the championship to individual teams that I think will play very well and also players that I think will disappoint a little bit. Before we do get started though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. We are on the road to 3,000 subscribers. And of course guys, make sure to drop a like on today's video. That helps out a ton in the YouTube algorithm. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. So my first bold prediction for the 2021 playoffs is Paul George performs really well. Now, of course, Paul George is known for lackluster playoff performances. He's not known for being a great playoff performer. Obviously, last year he had a terrible playoff performance, blowing the 3-1 lead to the Denver Nuggets, being a big part in why they lost. Ever since Paul George left the Indiana Pacers, he has not been known as a great playoff player. And of course, when Paul George called himself Playoff P, that added a lot more pressure, and now everyone seems to be slandering Paul George a lot for him not showing up in the playoffs, but this year, he seems to be a lot more motivated. The Clippers this year overall seem a lot less cocky, less arrogant. They just seem a lot more focused than last year. So I think Paul George definitely got humbled last year in the 2020 playoffs. And I think this year he will come out to play. He will have one of his best postseasons of his career, in my opinion. Maybe not as impactful as his Indiana Pacers runs, but I still think he'll be a great duo next to Kawhi Leonard, helping this Clippers team go as far as they possibly can. Does that mean I think the Clippers will win the championship? Not necessarily. I think the Clippers could go all the way, but just overall, I think Paul George will be a lot more focused and motivated this season, and it will lead to Paul George playing a lot better in the 2021 NBA playoffs. Moving on to my second bold prediction. This one isn't as bold, but I think the Utah Jazz are going to surprise people. The Utah Jazz are, of course, the #1 seed in the NBA, and they have really impressed a lot of people, including myself, especially with Donovan Mitchell losing a lot of time due to injury. The Utah Jazz have still stayed at the top of the Western Conference. The Jazz have really reached a new level this season, and it's really great to see. Their depth is so underrated. Even without Donovan Mitchell, they have such great chemistry. All those guys, Joe Ingles, Jordan Clarkson, Bojan Bogdanovic, all those shooters. I just feel like a lot of people are not really trusting the Jazz. In the beginning of the season, I didn't think the Jazz would stay the #1 seed, and they have. I didn't think the Jazz were going to be this legit. In my opinion, the Jazz could make the NBA Finals or like make the Western Conference Finals. Of course, that could be like a second round exit, but either way, I think the Utah Jazz are going to give any team they play in the playoffs a serious battle, like a 6 or 7 game battle. And in my opinion, they definitely could come out of the Western Conference. Moving on to bold prediction number 3. This one is Michael Porter Jr. really shines in the playoffs and shows that he is a true third star on the Denver Nuggets, of course being the second star this year with Jamal Murray, of course, being out for the season. But I think MPJ is going to really be appreciated this postseason just because people are going to find out how good he truly is playing in the playoffs with Nikola Jokic. And one of the main reasons why the Denver Nuggets haven't really fallen off that much when they lost Jamal Murray is because MPJ came in, stepped up, and played very well. Since Jamal Murray's injury, Michael Porter Jr. is averaging 20+ points a game on great efficiency. MPJ is one of the most efficient scorers in the NBA. He's an incredible shot maker. It doesn't even matter if you contest his shot. He still has a great chance of hitting those shots, even when contested, because he is just a sniper from the 3-point line, great in the mid-range area, just one of the best off-ball scorers in the NBA. And of course, being 6'9", 6'10", that helps him out a ton, and I really do think he could lead the Nuggets a lot this playoff run. They're definitely not a title contending team without Jamal Murray. He was a crucial piece to their puzzle, but I still think MPJ will step up, and I think he'll show the Denver Nuggets that he was worth the risky draft pick. Moving on to my next bold prediction, if there is going to be one player in this NBA postseason that disappoints a lot of people, I think that Trae Young would be that guy. Just because for Trae Young, it is his first season in the playoffs, and also Trae Young relies a lot on like foul baiting, getting calls from the referees, and I feel like in the postseason, he's not going to get all those same calls that he normally gets. In my opinion, if the Knicks get really physical, it could take Trae Young off of his game. And also, again, Trae Young, we all know this, he is not a great defensive player. I could definitely see Trae Young getting picked on in the pick and roll. And even though the Atlanta Hawks have had a great season, I would still pick the New York Knicks over them in a 7-game series. I was originally leaning the Hawks' way, but I do think Trae Young is going to underperform a little bit. And I feel like the Knicks being a more physical team, a better defensive team, is going to really help them out in the postseason. So I don't think the Hawks will win that series, and I think Trae Young will be a big reason why. And moving on to my 5th and final bold prediction for the 2021 playoffs, it is the Brooklyn Nets win the championship, but more importantly for the bold prediction, James Harden will win Finals MVP, just because He is the point guard of the team. He is going to be handling the ball, getting a ton of assists, and really filling up the stat sheet. It's pretty clear that James Harden can put up these humongous stat lines, and I think if he does that in the NBA Finals and they end up winning, I think the voters would give the Finals MVP to James Harden over Kevin Durant, just because Kevin Durant might be a better overall player than James Harden, but I think James Harden would definitely have the better stats, and he would get the Finals MVP. But let's just talk about the Brooklyn Nets title. I think they will win the championship. Of course, they're going to have to play the Milwaukee Bucks in the second round of the playoffs. That's going to be a tough series for them, but I still think they will get it done, even though the Milwaukee Bucks match up really well against them. Again, the Philadelphia 76ers, they have a great matchup against them, but I just don't think they have enough right now to beat the Brooklyn Nets in a 7-game series. The Sixers could definitely make it a close series, like 6 or 7 games going down to the wire, but I think the Nets would end up winning that series. And if the Brooklyn Nets end up making the NBA Finals, I think they would win it all, because the Lakers, again, not much chemistry. The Clippers could really give them a push, but I still think the Nets would have an advantage in that series. And if the Utah Jazz make the NBA Finals, I just feel like the Brooklyn Nets' star power will eventually outman any other team in the league. I mean, it's going to be really tough for any team to beat them. And again, I think James Harden will capture the Finals MVP, basically just because he's going to be handling the ball, again, getting all the stats, doing Harden-like things, getting to the free throw line, getting a ton of assists, playing very efficiently, putting up a high volume of three-pointers, all sorts of stuff that James Harden loves to do. He'll get a ton of assists, passing to Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Plus, obviously, James Harden just knows how to fill up a stat sheet, and I think he will end up winning Finals MVP, and the Brooklyn Nets will win the NBA championship. Anyways, guys, that is my 5 bold predictions for the 2021 NBA playoffs. Make sure to comment down below, what do you agree with, what do you disagree with, what are your personal hot takes or bold predictions for the 2021 playoffs. If you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. We are on the road to 3,000 subscribers. And of course, guys, make sure to drop a like on today's video. That helps the channel grow a ton. It helps get the videos out there a lot more. So definitely make sure to drop a like. And if you guys do want to watch more of my NBA or NBA 2K videos, I'm going to leave an end screen right when this video finishes to 2 of my previous uploads that I think you guys would really enjoy. So have a great rest of your day, guys. It's been Story of Sam, and I'm out. Peace.